San Diego 6 News in the morning.
Yawning into that second cup of coffee, your body biology might have more to do with it than you might have thought. The Salk Institute talks about their latest discovery of the alarm clock gene.
So you ever wonder why you wake up in the morning, even when the alarm clock isn't going off as it was there? So wonder no more. We have new information on the alarm clock gene. Dr. Luciano Di Taccio is a molecular biologist from the Salk Institute, and he's joining us this morning. Did you use your alarm this morning?
Actually, I did.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Some people are better than others about
Yes,
waking
they
up
are.
without it.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
What we study is the circadian clock, which controls in addition to many other things, when we go to sleep and when we wake up. So it's just like what it sounds, a clock. But instead of having cogs and wheels and springs, it actually uses genes. So some of these get turned on when you wake up and off when you go to bed.
This is a big discovery. We hear a lot of times about people waking up before their alarm, but this
Yes,
gene
indeed.
is a big deal.
Yes, it is, because we understood how those genes, or roughly understood for about the last 10 years, how they got turned off, but we didn't understand how they got turned on. And what we found is a molecular switch that, much like turning on a car, it turns on the genes that are important in getting you to wake up in the morning.
Now, some people are better than others. My mother, for
Yes,
instance,
indeed.
she never uses an alarm clock. She really depends and relies on the fact that she can just wake up.
Yeah, some people, I mean, there's genetic variation that actually has an impact on that. Some people have a very strong clock, we call it a robust clock, and their bodies are able to tell time very, very well. Most people are okay, and some of them will have problems. Actually, there are some families that tend to wake up really, really early, and it's absolutely genetic. It's pretty fascinating.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
And well, for people on our shift here, this is just a different ballgame. I can't think of anybody really that would wake up without an alarm clock, because you're messing with your circadian rhythm.
Yes, indeed. And actually, you know, everybody thinks that whenever you say circadian clock, everybody thinks sleep. But it's much more than that. I mean, you're interfering with a system that controls not only your sleep, but many processes in your body. For example, metabolism is greatly affected by the clock. Liver function, for example, kidneys, gastrointestinal your system, it is actually affected by the circadian clock. So whenever you put stress on it, you end up getting yourself in trouble. Some people have higher incidence of some cancers, of diabetes, metabolic syndrome, because they stress their system so much. I mean, for example, nurses or people that work the shift, the graveyard shift, shift workers are at higher problems.
I used to be able to fall asleep at stoplights.
Yes, indeed.
That's not a good thing.
So that's not a good thing. Not indeed. That's not something I would recommend.
But finding, but finding this gene, this is going to help with some other ailments that people may face or problems with sleeping?
Yes, indeed. So when we understand how something works, we're able to go back in and now try to design drugs or other ways of addressing these problems. And then you can help people. But as I said, I mean, I guess the obvious one is sleep. But you can also help people, for example, with diabetes or that are at risk for diabetes. This clock is tremendously important.
Now, what happens for people on the shift? Is there any way to make it better?
Well, the first thing is keep a good schedule. So we do see that if you have a very, very nice schedule, you actually help your internal clock maintain a balance with the environment. Obviously, if you're waking up at 2 in the morning to come into the studio, it's not optimal. But the more regular you are, we see that it's much better.
And then why can teenagers, you know, on weekends, say, sleep till 11 o'clock in the morning, and then when we get older, I can't do that anymore?
We have a job. No. So our clocks, as we age, they start breaking down, if you will. So it cannot transmit information that it has to the body. So therefore, what ends up happening is the body cannot read the time as well, so it starts doing strange things. It starts, for example, as you really start to get older, you sleep fragments. A lot of people see that they can't really sleep through the night. They
It happened when I had
awake.
kids. It was over. No more sleeping.
That's I know the feeling.
I hear it comes back later on, though, so that's a good thing. So anyway, this is something that you're going to be looking into. Maybe you can come
Yes,
back
indeed.
and talk about what you
I
discovered.
would love to.
All
Thank you so
right.
much for having us.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much for coming in.
Thank you.
I know you've got to throw on the different work clothes and
Yes, indeed.
get busy.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Thank you.
For more information, go to san diego6.com and click on Hot Topics.